Well, we're gonna work that out.
No, I'm right here.
Oh, hello? Alright. Doesn't matter what I was saying. How are you doing today, Jaha?
You can't?
No, I can now. We're good. And we're live. So now I can't. How weird.
Not this?
Yeah, I heard of that. Getting bits and bobs.
Huh. Which bits and which bob?
Right, I'm getting all of that. That was all good. See, this is where I get frustrated. People are going to accuse me of not testing it before we started, but we did. It's a freak accident, but I think we're okay now.
Yeah, I think so. I just disconnected and reconnected to the channel, and you were immediately there, so...
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
Well, as long as that's all figured out, I guess answer the question, how you doing today, Jaha?
Oh, quite well, and thank you for having me on. This is going to be a hell of a good cup, I think. I'm really excited to see some of the names in the bracket. Some names I haven't seen in a while, and I just reconfirmed that they haven't been in any of these Callvote Cups, so this is sort of a big deal. Of course, I'm talking about the one and only Puffdar.
Ooh. See, I've heard his name, but it's a thing of legend to me.
It was told to, it was mentioned to children to put them to sleep and keep them cowering under their blankets.
Yeah, just like
in
Santa.
the old country.
And my father's belt. Alright, let's join a server, see what games we can get. Always a little bit weird at the beginning of a cup, but yeah. I think a couple are going on. Even if maybe they've already done with the map process, whatever. I'm going to jump into Liquid is Addicted versus Neko/Rapunzel. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see that.
Sure, what server is that on? Of course, this,
if you go to TV.
Ah, right.
Yeah, and then it will just give you the names. It's wonderful. It really is. Well, we're getting into it. 7 minutes left on this. Liquid is Addicted, apparently 5-2 up on WDM 10. A map, I will admit, to not knowing an awful lot about. Had a run around earlier today, and the other day actually, but I have yet to play it. Looks interesting. Looks very, very interesting.
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic map, and I know we haven't been able to see it in some of the previous cups too often, but I'm glad to see it right off the bat here.
It is one of the things I will commend about the Callvote Cup. Every week a new map pool. I mean, even only small variations, but a lot of variation when you look at the bigger picture. Here we go. Currently following Is Addicted. Liquid is Addicted. Most people are pretty addicted to Liquid, so I'm not even too sure if that's worth mentioning, if I'm honest.
Absolutely. All right, so looks like we're quite well into WDM 10. Actually, I'm a little bit surprised to see this score coming in about 4 minutes in. 7-2, quite a lot for Is Addicted so far here.
Perhaps we've missed something special, and perhaps that was a sign of things to come. It seems that both players...
That's honestly probably one of the reasons why we're looking at a best of one for the upper bracket, at least.
Warsow games do have a tendency of being a little one-sided.
Well, yeah, because it's a game that really rewards momentum and control, and that's actually not too easy to hold down for too long on a map like WDM 10. There's not a whole lot of resources, and they're all rather far from each other. But right now, Is Addicted holding on fairly well to the Mega, which is pretty trappable. But Rapunzel took a lot of damage there, couldn't really put any pressure on it, and now Is Addicted is on the hunt. And this is a map that also kind of punishes hunting, I believe. Just because you really have to manage your corners well, and you have all these little tight corridors, so even if you have a big stack, a couple rockets could change that very quickly.
Well, as you were saying, not massive on resources, which of course then extrapolates to in any one area. Not a massive resources either.
Absolutely. So you do need to be able to roam, you do need to be able to stay fairly uncommitted to each area, be able to get in and out. But Is Addicted, trying to look for lower yellow armor here a little bit. Rapunzel sitting up top on Mega, but of course until Is Addicted waits a few more seconds or takes some damage, it won't be coming up for quite some time. So Is Addicted pushing forward in order to control both of these yellow armors, leaving with Rapunzel with very little to work with going into the next fight over Mega, which he may or may not be able to show up on. Is Addicted is going to be down below, though, trying to get some rockets down, so Rapunzel's got the upper hand at the moment. Gonna have to see if he can do any damage here. Whiffs an important rail, has to back up now, looking for one more, looking for any sort of prize on this Mega, and he's going to get a little bit of a dink on the rocket, but oh, he pushes in! How ballsy of him! And he ends up getting punished for that.
So close yet so far. Really key mistakes in an otherwise rather exciting and coherent play. Well, it's the stack advantage, perhaps just a little bit too much to be waltzing in like that.
Yeah, I mean, you do need to pull the trigger at some point, but it also implies that you need to make your hits count as well, and Rapunzel didn't quite have those put together.
Well, we respect his gusto, if nothing else.
Absolutely. Now he still has a bit of time to bring this back together. You can go on a bit of a run once you can get control wrestled away from Is Addicted. You have to see if you can put that together. He's got no armor to work with right now, though. He's got rockets and grenades and LG, though, so that's plenty to set up a fight, but getting even that green armor will be a huge help for him, as Is Addicted running around with just about 100-100. Rapunzel, not quite so much, but he's looking for this next Mega, and he might be able to get it just as a result of Is Addicted not showing up at all, but he's got the trap blade anyway. But like all traps in Quake, as it seems, it doesn't quite go his way.
Unfortunate. I mean, he did have everything going for him. So well timed on that Mega. I mean, maybe it was just out of desperation and not skill at all, but we can pretend.
Absolutely, but this is one of those maps where once you do manage to break the streak of your opponent, it's a map that allows you to be fairly defensive and go into hiding, and it looks like Is Addicted is already shifting gears to try doing that quite a bit. And with just under 3 minutes left to go, he might be able to make that happen, but man, here comes the fight on Mega, and Is Addicted pulling together yet another one, just as a result of his superior aim in that fight.
Yeah, they trade out, but it's the better positioning off spawn for Is Addicted, and of course that plays in with the clock here. So key. If you wrestled control completely, if he had everything, I'm talking about Rapunzel of course, then maybe it wouldn't be so hard to believe a 12-13 frag streak, but as it is now, the clock is taking its toll.
And it really does look like Is Addicted is just having a bit of fun with Rapunzel at this point, just baiting in a fight, not really having anything to fight back with, but also denying Rapunzel of getting anywhere near. It looks like he might be able to fight off this Mega if he wants to stick around here for another 20 seconds. Is Addicted might lose out here, but now he's going to be able to pull one off of that plasma anyway.
Well, word on the street is Rapunzel is actually a female, so we apologize for that. But other than that, I think that was rather good casting. It's a shame you've offended everyone.
Oh, everyone. All
everyone.
In one, on the first round even. That's a new record even for me. Yeah. Already setting records this tournament. Well, fortunately, this is going to be a very quick upper bracket, but that means that there's a lot to play for in the lower bracket, which is probably where the bulk of the drama is going to be milked out here.
Yeah, it intrigues me, and we can talk about this a little now. Just that very unorthodox tournament structure, because in a lot of ways it does make sense. When everything's on the line, when you're about to exit the tournament, you get more games. So what do you think of it, and do you think we'll see, you know, any pros and cons to the format?
I think it's based on the presumption that the skill levels are pretty disparate in Warsow, and I think there's some historical precedent for that for sure. So I think it's reasonable. Not that I'm biased about, you know, wanting to be stingy with my time, but I think it's perfectly reasonable.
I don't have a problem with it myself. Some people do, and you know, it's
but it also puts a lot of pressure on map knowledge, as you mentioned, with all of these Callvote Cups having different map pools. Warsow has very unique and very intricate maps that require a lot of in-depth, intimate knowledge of.
Yep.
And Best of One could certainly punish that, especially if WDM10 is not one that you generally play. And it's not the most played map. It's not the least played map for sure, but it's definitely a little bit more arcane than others. But certainly a good showing out of here for the first round out of Rapunzel. Certainly wishing her good luck in the lower bracket.
And we'll see how she does there. It is, of course, Liquid is Addicted moving forward, where he will face if it's on there. Are they using good names? Oh wait, did we just cast a game? No, there it is. There it is. He's called AE on the bracket. You're confusing me, lads. You're confusing me. So, nobody there just yet. That was actually a round 2 match that they were playing right at the beginning, which is obviously fine. In the meantime, I guess we'll hop over to another server, see what's going on. We do have Frag Hunter playing, which will be underway, but I want to jump into that because these are 2 players I haven't seen before at all. I think Liquid is Addicted, I definitely recognize the name. That's the cool thing about the Warsow Callvote Cup. We were talking about it before we went live. So many signups. So many, maybe not new players to Warsow, but unique signups as well. So it's interesting to follow for me.
Because there's a lot that I really don't recognize, which might well be my fault. But at the same time, I think it's certainly a great thing having this many signups and check-ins for that.
Yeah. I didn't actually bleed out that many this week. What a crazy turn of events for check-ins to actually, in any way, symbolize how many signups there were. It's a crazy world we live in.
Alright, so what are we looking at here? I'm seeing Caster Killer and Predator. I'm assuming that they're on the bracket somewhere. Oh yeah, there we go. They're in round 1 there. Let's see.
And oh yeah, so they're just about to get into map picks.
13 and 20 there, yeah.
All right.
And I'm happy to see the return of 6 Ounce Poo here in the bracket.
I will say, the last time I casted, I think it was 2 cups ago, maybe 3. No, it was definitely 2. 6 Ounce Poo after an electric display in the first ever Warsaw Cup I casted. He had regressed. He was not the man I thought he was. But in his place was Frag Stealer.
Right.
A god among men, as far as I'm concerned. So, both of those players I'm excited to see because, well, you know, I have no trust anymore. 6 Ounce Poo was this incredible angelic beam of light that came to me in a dream. And then the next week he was looking like a bit of a turd. Frag Stealer, I hope to not repeat his fate.
Well, if history's any precedent, should go fairly well for him. But of course, there's Puffdar lurking in the shadows, as it were. He's been lurking for quite a long time. We don't have Kerpal this time around, which could make things fairly different, but it'll guarantee us some interesting matches towards the end of the bracket as well.
Do we not? See, I did see him signed up. Maybe he didn't check in.
I didn't see it. I'm worried about this Caster Killer guy, though. I'm getting a little bit nervous.
Oh, dear. Yeah, what if the Punisher was into esports? Terrifying.
Yeah.
Every time you mumble or say Amora or, you know, misname. Oh, God, that would be the worst. What if when you were casting Reflex and you call it the rail instead of the bolt, then he just shows up to your house? Think about it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give that one away though. I'll fight him over that one. But mispronouncing names, especially for Swedish players, yeah, I'd be well fucked.
It's okay. They're pretty calm. The Swedes, I think.
MOBA broadcasting would go up though.
Vote failed.
Yep. Yeah, it would. So, I believe we're going to WDM 17. Oh, they're picking the maps I don't know very well. I mean, this Caster Killer, you're doing it right now. You're doing it right. Well, I mean, at least he's honest, right? He's upfront about it.
Oh man, I really hope you have the announcer voices turned off.
No, they are on. I'm hearing you twice. It's brilliant. No, I'm going to be able to feel your pain in just a few short weeks because I'm actually an announcer for Christus's new game.
Oh,
and
cool. Awesome.
But the thing is, though, when he asked me to do it, the very first condition was you got to have an announcer voice off option. Can't get added without that. I can't imagine having to listen to my own voice while playing a game. I mean, that's got to throw you off. You've lost the lead. You tell yourself that. It's defeating. That's just painful.
Yeah.
But hopefully it won't be as
That
prevalent.
reminds me, I need to catch up with the Wrecked guys and see how they're doing. Always have a good attitude about things.
Been quiet for a long time. I did a test with them. I think it must have been maybe in November or something like that.
We caught up with them at QuakeCon last year, and we were pretty hammered by that point. But we kind of had a faux broadcast of their game, and yeah, it was a good time all around. Really took the piss out of them, and they loved it.
It's a crazy game as well because it kind of has everything. Yeah. And I don't mean that as in, you know, it has everything, matchmaking, prize money. No, it's got more or less.
Heap of mechanic.
Yeah. Well, I think they've kind of added it all, and they're gonna chip away as and when. But as it is right now, it's just like strafe jumping, yes. Air control, yes. Double jumping, yes. Force fields, yes. Just, it's all there. You want to blink about? Sure. You want to rocket jump? Absolutely. So
Anything is fine. Well, we're finding ourselves in DM17, and the only thing you need to know about this map is the hiding place on top of the barrel in the corner
On
by
top?
the 50 health.
Alright,
Yeah,
let
just keep
me
going
find
until
that.
you hear a washing machine or dryer.
I think I have ambient sounds fairly low.
Yeah.
But let's have a look. Again, this is the other map. That oh, is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Wait, I think so.
If you need to turtle up and not get fragged for a couple seconds, that's the place to be. Literally the only thing that matters in the map.
Right. I hope to see that used. Warsow. Interesting game. Interesting game. I was going to talk about this. So we were on WDM 10, and you were saying that new maps every week, you really need good map knowledge. Warsow map's very intricate. But more so than that, I would say it's just the variation of maps is bigger than in any other arena FPS I've seen. And maybe that's me being ignorant, but you know, if you look at WDM2, one extreme, then what would you say is the biggest map? I'm really looking at like WDM1, I guess, for duel.
WDM1 isn't really played all that often these days. I think 14 or 12.
Yeah.
If I,
No, 12 I know
I'm
is
being
big.
honest with my numbers. Yeah, they both are, and they both kind of have a similar theme. But yeah, they're both fairly sizable with some pretty big atrium. But yeah, the amount of variety that you get in the maps, I think, is just due to good genes. I mean, this came from the Q Fusion engine, which originally was a fork of Quake 2, which has the best map variety of all Quakes, and that's a fact.
Is that a fact?
Prepare to fight.
Just...
3.
Oh, yep. People always getting caught out by the warm-up timer in this game.
Myself included.
Yeah,
It looks like they're still arguing a little bit over the exact method of picking maps.
Oh, it's getting hostile. We've got drama. Round 1. Round 1. Well, round 2 for us, but...
Caster Killer already starting to live up to his name.
Yeah. I mean, if he picks WDM 10 or 17, that's how I would really just solidify him as my enemy. At that point, it's give me 5, give me 2, give me 15. Come on. We need some bribes. Who am I kidding? I can't analyze anyway. What difference is it gonna make?
Well, the day is
That's why
young.
you're here. That's why you're here, all right? You got to do all the heavy lifting.
I was here to offend people.
That too. I mean, really, you should just solo it. I don't know why I'm here. I'll do the stream. I'll do the production. I can't do that.
I could learn a thing or two about terrible puns.
I don't know if I want that handed to me. It's like being handed your mother's head on a pike. It's like, yeah, I mean, I should have that. If anyone has that, it should be me. But please, would rather I didn't have it.
Wear it proudly.
What, my mother's head on a pike or the puns?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen 10 Cloverfield Lane?
I have. It's
All
fantastic.
right, let's talk about that because
Sounds
this
good.
game isn't started. He really is. He really is. And, well, okay, let's not spoil anything.
It's impossible not to, because even the trailer is a total deception. So anybody who
Yeah.
has seen the trailer and was like, nah, first of all, you're wrong. But second of all, ignore the trailer, go see the movie.
You should say, okay, that's the first thing I'll say as well. Go see the film. I was iffy on it at first. The marketing, I thought this might be very smart, but at the same time, it did at least put me on edge because I do not like the original Cloverfield. And my main criticism of that movie...
I mean, this was sort of just a brilliant marketing tactic. Was they had this gem of a film that nobody was going to see because it wasn't an established IP. And these days, unless you're an established IP, you don't get any sort of popularity to tie this back into Warsow. So by attaching it to an existing franchise, people at least got intrigued enough to go see it and verify that, yeah, it's a brilliant film.
Clearly very, very intelligent. But I'm sure it will have convinced many, many more people to watch it than it's turned away with it. But I think it's also turned a few people away.
That only works a little bit until people realize that it's a shitty film, but everybody realized it was a great film, so it maintained its momentum.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I was on edge about it, and then I saw a couple good comments, and a few things on Twitter, and I was a bit bored. So I was like, all right, I'm going down to the cinema. And I watched it. And I was at first kind of taken aback by something. You know, it's got this massive tonal whiplash going on right at the end.
Yeah, and it's great.
At the time, I wasn't sure if it was great. After,
Well, I mean,
I'm kind of mulled it over, and I
here's the
think I
thing.
like it.
We all knew what we expected was going to happen. We all knew what the ending was going to be. So the fact that it wasn't that made me pretty happy on its own merits. Like we're going back over to 2.
Actual Warsow? See, this is probably why we shouldn't cast together. We descend into all sorts of podcasts. We're not even doing Arena FPS podcast this time. We're going to talk about film. It's just... Okay, but whoa. What's the best Rocky movie? What's the best Rocky movie? I'm not even going to bother segueing. No, just do it.
Which one had Dolph Lundgren?
4.
Yeah, alright then.
Alright, you're going for the silliest one. I can respect that.
The most Dolph Lundgren-y one.
Oh, it really is, yeah. It really is. I don't think the others is Dolph Lundgren-y at all. And you know, you think about that series, you think Dolph Lundgren. You say Rocky, it's just, oh yeah, the Russian one.
Right.
It's kind of amazing, because people forget he wasn't even in the first 3. And he's not even in Creed. They missed it. They really missed a trick there. Yeah. See, here's what Creed should have been. Apollo Creed's son versus Dolph Lundgren Cyborg.
I'm up for it.
I mean, it'd be hard. You'd be hard-pressed to make a better film than Creed, but I think that would do it.
I have not seen it yet, so I can't comment on that.
It's an excellently well-made film.
Please ready up.
Oh god, I just heard myself again. I don't know if I'm ever gonna not cringe at that.
3.
But here we go. We finally got Predator. We finally got Castle Killer done killing us and moving into WDM2.
And this
Castle Killer gets a start on Mega.
Of course, this is when they're going to disappoint us and give us a terrible game after all that waiting.
I'm a little bit worried about the way Castle Killer is approaching this because Predator went ahead and made sure to get himself a bunch of weapons before the items came out. Castle Killer seemed a little bit shocked that there were no items up just yet because, again, it's one of the unique things about Warsow, but I think all things told, it's a clever choice, and I think it actually adds quite a bit of depth. But that'll be Predator getting initial frag on the board, putting a lot of pressure on Castle Killer on the spawn immediately. And, yeah, starting to roll a bit here.
Yep. No stop in sight is been rather impressive. Cast Killer, on the other hand, not so much. And even here, on the ropes, perhaps being chased down. And to the slaughter.
Down to the pit indeed. 3 on -1 just within the first minute. And yeah, this is the way that WDM2 can go for a bit. I've always been a huge fan of how much Warsow's evolved, not only in terms of presentation, but just the sheer balance of the weapons. So this is a run that Castle Killer could indeed break, just with a few ingredients. And unfortunately, showing up at all of these items without any real weapons to speak of is not one of those ingredients.
I tend to find that doesn't go well. I tend to find also the grammatically correct way of saying that sentence.
It's like biting into what you think is a chocolate chip cookie, but discovering it's raisins instead. It's almost exactly what that's like.
Alright, but here's the thing. I'm pretty blind. My eyesight is not good. It's terrible. Even with glasses, I'm not, legally allowed to learn how to drive. Pretty bad. But that has never happened to me. Whenever I've looked at a cookie, I've exactly seen that's a raisin, that's a chocolate chip. They look quite different. They are the same color, they are the same shape, but texture could not be further unless one, sublimed into a gas.
I think in the interest of teaching players how to play Quake-like games, I mean, cookie analogies could be rather handy. Rect could take a few notes here.
I'd agree with that.
Again.
I'd agree with that.
Oh, you were just mortified, okay.
Yep.
Oh, better us than Castle Killer at this point, as we're still looking at 11 on -1. I want to keep my eye on Castle Killer for at least a few spawns here, because we are early in the bracket, we are early in the cup, and we're going to be seeing some pretty wide skill levels, as we predicted. So, there's sort of an ABC approach to a map like WDM2. WDM2, I think, is a great map to learn as a beginning even Quake player. It's got one atrium. It's got a couple teleporters, but they're very simple. You can kind of see where you're going on each of those. They're not too complicated like maybe Aerowalk would be to some newer players. So, you know, in any map, in any game, you know, get weapons first and foremost. Then get yourself at least a green armor. You need to know where that is. You need to know what areas to avoid, actually, more than knowing where to go at any given point here. And right now, avoiding... Well, honestly, because this is Warsow, any place in Predator's path is really the best thing to do, and that includes red armor, that includes mega health. So yeah, get yourself a railgun. This map was changed a long time ago to put that Electro Bolt right up at the very top, allowing fresh spawns to have that, you know, not only height advantage, but weapon advantage there, to at least take a few pegs down from the leading player. And I'm not really sure we're going to see that out of Castle Killer anytime soon.
You should be taking those pigs.
Oh, you're not using pad pork, are you?
No, I'm using... Okay. Wait, who's pad pork?
The pig.
No, I'm not using him. I'm using the man who looks like he's part of the Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Mutants.
Totally. Big Vic is one of my favorite character models in any Quake. It's great. Right up there with Visor.
I love this genre because you can say any Quake and it's Warsow. It's not Quake at all.
But it is.
Yeah, I know.
It's a Quake 2 mod.
Yeah, the way the language has developed, I really like.
Yeah.
Because, God, it's got to be hard to understand for a newcomer. That's what it's all about.
Again, we are broadcasting Warsow, and that kind of comes with the territory, I would think.
Yeah, of course.
But I think this map is a great opportunity for new players to learn the game and to learn the game type. And hopefully Caster Killer is getting something out of this. And I would argue that similar to fighting games, you do need a sound thrashing, several in fact, in order to start to get your bearings in the game.
Yeah, it is one of the harder games to get into. Even among arena FPS, I think Warsow is a bit tough. This map, I would agree with you. It's simple enough.
Yeah, you can look between red armor and mega health pretty quickly and at least check them. Yellow armor is safe-ish. Green armor is pretty safe. Green armor also gives you an opportunity to look at the mega health and maybe do some damage without necessarily committing to it. And that's probably one of the things that new players need to learn the most is seeing what they... seeing a trap before they spring it and going, maybe I'm not going to enter into that fight. Of course, Warsow adds a few elements because you are able to maintain such a huge momentum that it's like being tied to the train tracks the whole time. Can't get away.
You don't want to be tied to train tracks. No, it's, I can't remember what country it is, but there's a country where it's a very popular way of giving yourself a bit of pep. Like, it's like having an energy drink there, or even to cure some medication, where they will sit on the train tracks and then try and get off just before they get run over.
Surely it's Russia.
No, it's not Russia. I believe it's South American, but it's really common. It's just a thing they do.
And I thought my training days were hard.
Oh, God, making fun of my puns. You're bringing that out.
I never made fun of them. I showed admiration and respect.
I know, it sounded a bit too sarcastic to me. Maybe.
That's the trick, isn't it? I have a 28 on -4. I think Caster Killer is growing a lot today, emotionally.
Let's hope so. Otherwise, he's having a breakdown right now.
Well, he hasn't spawned and sat in one corner yet. Predator's doing his due diligence of giving Caster a few lessons.
If only he had a toxic barrel by a 50 bubble.
If only.
That should be just the trademark of Warsow maps, I think. A little cubby hole.
No such luck here in WDM2.
Bad map. Not nearly enough toxic barrels. Yeah, it's just disappointing, because it's good otherwise, but... Oh! Alright, Predator. Calm down, son. That was a bit saucy. This guy is certainly someone to watch. I mean, he hasn't been contested. We haven't exactly seen his intellectual game.
Right.
Or anything of the sort, but his raw rail aim, not looking bad whatsoever. I tell you, I wouldn't kick it out of bed for eating some biscuits.
It is one of the tougher things in Quake where you kind of allow your opponent to set the pace of the game, and you see the way that Predator's moving. He's just grabbing everything. He's constantly on the attack. And you kind of instinctively react to that. You get kind of jittery and go, okay, I gotta go here, then I gotta go here, and I gotta be really quick. No, you need to find a way to deny your opponent those things. And Warsow's actually pretty good at that. I mean, especially in WDM2, where you have the red armor and the mega health both imminently trappable. You have a couple rocket launchers that are pretty easy to get, and you really need to be able to play the corridors and play defensively a little bit in order to slow the game down. Of course, in Warsow, that can be harder than some. I think it's pretty easy in Reflex right now. That last Australian Cup, it's a pretty low fragging cup all in all, I would say.
Yeah, Reflex is weird like that. I would say it does have those games, but I tell you, it's really weird. It doesn't even seem to be map dependent. I mean, Yod 1, the map you're probably talking about especially, is low fragging.
Right.
But it almost seems like each tournament, the players will get together and go, all right, we playing this aggressively? We getting high frag? All right. And the next one, low frags? Cool. I have no idea why it happens, but there seems to be such a huge variation.
Like Quake Live all over again.
Yeah, basically. Except there are frags.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eventually.
dear. Maybe one day.
But 42 on -5. I think this is a good warm-up for the Quake World events that we're going to be running throughout the summer. This is the scores that we're used to seeing a little bit more of.
Yeah. Yeah, 42 to -5. You don't even feel bad about that in Quake World, do you?
No. That's just it's a good start. Certainly not a cap though.
Nah.
Alright, but Caster Killer, I think he could just get a lot out of this if we just saw Frag Stealer, or Predator rather, and just said, nah, I'm gonna just throw down a couple rockets and then plus back a bit. And yeah, there is a lot of momentum to be gained here. And you can see that even as Caster Killer is trying to get something like the Electro Bolt, Predator's right in front of him. He can hear the Mega Health though, but he's going for the jump pad. Like, I keep wanting to have a mod for Quake or Quake likes where you kind of have like a heat map of places where it's not safe to go here. Maybe go here instead. So you would color things like red armor in Blood Run, like really deep red, like don't be here unless you've got weapons and, positioning and timing. Things like the jump pad here in WDM2, like, nah, don't go there. Avoid that area as much as you can. Especially the bottom of the map. This is a death trap.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, so the next game, we've got a few options. We've got Taz versus who I believe it's called G. XII. I mean, he might be called 13. Or we have, I believe Frag Stealer was playing on Null 1. Do you have any preference?
At this stage, I'm pretty easygoing.
Pretty easy. Okay, so I'm going to jump into Taz versus G. If that's really far in or super one-sided, we'll move away. But as it stands, I think it might be an okay game. WDM2, once again, 6-2. The lead, actually, for G/13. I'm going to pick on one. What do I prefer? I think 13. Because then I can pretend he's the big lumbering robot from Dragon Ball Z.
I was just thinking of the cel-shaded shooter from 2006.
Oh, yeah. I always remember that game every now and then, unable to remember its name, and I spend hours trying to look it up, because that was such a unique game at the time. People were raving about it as well, even if the gameplay, if memory serves, was like, just really weird. It wasn't
definitely
a typical
cashed in on a
shooter.
gimmick, but I think it had some neat things, like whenever you went silent, you could actually see the sound effects of people walking around in order to set the stealth kills. It was neat.
That was a cool game.
Yeah. Oh, looks like we're actually live here.
We are 6-4 now.
Shirking my duties here.
A close game. Yeah, you do the casting. I just talked about inane bollocks.
All right, but it looks like we've got a much closer game than our last one so far here. 13 by a couple frags. Taz, actually, a longtime player, looking fairly all right here at the moment, as he's able to take away red armor, and he's got all the main ingredients, weapons-wise, for a good fight here. But being cut with his pants down here in the lower atrium, not really where he wants to be. He's able to push off enough damage to grab away this yellow armor. And keep 13 kind of looking for resources, currently at 70-70. Taz doing quite a bit better at this point, but 5 seconds to red armor. He's got his back to it. He's listening for 13, trying to figure out where he's going to show up. And he catches him at the LG.
Yeah, now pinned back. 50 bubbles, nice for him. Maybe he's actually going to get back over to the Mega. Taz, not on top of things, and now taking damage. What should have been a fantastic trade. What wasn't as good as it should have been, though. You know, you take that fight at the LG ammo, you back off to the Mega, you then rotate over to the red. Instead, he pushes, gets a little too, I want to say greedy even. And now, an interesting fight. Taz does come out on top, still licking his wounds.
Oh, and off of the spawn, 13 able to grab away a rocket launcher and give Taz a good reason not to look for that spawn frag. And so he's going to be on his back leg a little bit. Nice direct rocket to keep 13 off his back a little bit longer, justifying this push into the Mega health. But it's going to be a big fight over the Mega, a fight that 13 wins. This could give him the momentum back, as well as the 2-frag lead. He's going to need to jump again for that red armor, though, giving Taz an opportunity to push in. It's still going to be 13. Oh, no, he actually ran away from it. Not a bad idea, but that gives Taz a lot to work with over these next few minutes.
Well, it leaves the map all open, really, this next fight. Should be rather eventful and rather important. For the moment, it looks like 13 is going to be locked out of this Mega.
Yeah, always easy to kind of push somebody off of it, but 13 had other priorities here. He wanted to maintain that control over the armor. But this fight at the red armor itself, he's having a lot of trouble getting out of it. He's going to have to back up towards the 50. Taz, amazingly enough, didn't really trap him there. He had his sights more on the Mega side of the map for reason. He actually had a huge opportunity there, but beautiful rail, taking 13 down and making this a 1-frag game. Checking out his momentum and his stack, he's got a lot to work with. And 13 trying to huddle up a little bit more, trying to turtle up a little bit, and be ready for this next fight.
I think what we saw there really was Taz, as he usually is. One of the few people I've seen in every one of the Callvote Cups, and he's always impressed. I was really rather concerned when we came into this, 2-6, but back in it, swinging. A lot of momentum on his side right now.
Alright, so we just heard yellow armor taken away there. 13 expecting the fight there, but he really doesn't have the stack, and he's going to be up against the wall, and that'll make it a tied game as Taz has Mega, quite a bit of armor with 3 seconds left before red comes up. 13 really can't beat him to it or hold down this fight. This should be a relatively free frag for Taz, but even with 13 running out of rockets, he's able to get away from it and get in front of Taz on the red armor as well. I don't think he knew it, though, so he's not really giving himself that item.
That was quite a comical fight. And by fight, I mean man running around and not being killed.
Nobody really knew where they wanted to be at that point. But that'll be Taz moving into the lead. 13 taking a bit of a nasty rail there, down to 1 health. And he can take away the 25. I don't think the 50's back up just yet. This is a lot to gamble on just to take that red armor, and yeah, Gravity's going to end up winning that one. I think he got the shotgun, actually. Yeah, 9-7 now, as we enter our final minute and a half.
Not a huge stack though for Taz, and now not a lot at all. That Mega bolsters him. Still, it's within, you know, very slim margin by which he can die, and we see it right there. Oh, what an atrocious spawn. Well,
So,
you gotta feel
I think
bad
this
for him.
is the best possible game we could have asked for this early in the bracket. 13 now spawning with the rocket launcher and red armor. We've got 3 seconds left till Mega comes up. It should be a huge fight over it. It's a pit that Taz can get out of, but he's going to dive back in. It's anybody's match at this point as Taz takes it with the gunblade as that last shot. Now can he hold on to this lead for the next 40 seconds?
I think they both have timing. And this should be a fight. Actually, Taz walking away. That does go the way of 13. Oh, this teleporter. Flustered, though. Just about finding his mark. There we go. One poor shotgun. He follows it up, though, and despite his mouth rattling every which way. On the mark.
That rocket bounce off the 50. Nasty shot, and Taz gets away with it with quite a lot of stack. Red armor's going to be up. 13 absolutely, you know, has nothing to lose. He needs to be on the chase, but he's already got that red armor, and it looks like Taz is going to get away with a single frag lead, shoving 13 down to the lower bracket.
Oh dear. That's quite the match. As you said, early in a tournament like this, you just don't expect it. That was genuinely exciting. We didn't have to fake anything. Oh. Oh.
Disparage the notion that I ever fake anything. I don't think you fake anything either.
There's too many easy jokes. There's too many. Low-hanging fruit's there, but it just doesn't taste as good, so I'm going to avoid it.
Don't worry, we'll get to your low-hanging 6-ounce poo here pretty soon.
Oh dear Lord, when will it end? I do have a real soft spot, and maybe it is just for players, not because of the way they play at all, but have names that a caster can work with. It's so good.
I can tell you get a little bit flushed whenever he comes around.
I do, and Frag Stealer as well. Again, I'm not even too sure I love his play that much. I'm pretty sure I do. I think it's very exciting, but it's mainly just because you can say he stole the frag. His name's Frag Stealer. His name sounds great to just exclaim. That was all I did. I was solo casting. And well, you've done a lot of solo casting, but then again, you can analyze, so it's a bit different. But when you're a play-by-play only, and you're solo casting, and you're into the 6th hour, it just kind of descended in me turning to a soccer commentator, as you would call it. I just like, Frag Stealer, round the corner, Frag Stealer with the rail, Frag Stealer! Still, though, wonderful, just because of his name.
The answer is drugs.
Is the answer drugs?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I'll need to...
I mean, for me, it's caffeine, so, you know, take that as you will. So edgy.
Yes. I think my drug would have to be Balsam Choco Leibniz, which, of course, is not our sponsor, but I wish they were. Everybody go to their Twitter if it exists. It probably doesn't. Let them know what's going on. It's the best biscuit. Have you had one? You probably haven't. You probably don't have.
I really think esports has missed out on food sponsorship. Like, we could make fun of the cliche of Doritos and Mountain Dew all we want, but honestly, we should be doing that as well. So yeah, biscuits for Warsow. I'm totally down for it.
We're gonna jump into Liquid is Addicted versus Frag Stealer, which should be quite the biscuit of a match. It's going on 7-5. Frag Stealer actually trailing. Not what I would have expected, even though I was praising Liquid is Addicted earlier. Well, don't worry, guys. I just want to reassure everyone in the chat, we will get right back to the food in esports discussion, which, of course, is a very pressing matter. But after the game.
Has he changed his name to Treek?
No. Frag Stealer, Liquid is Addicted, WDM2.
I'm looking at Frag Hunter. Sorry.
Yeah, a little bit different. I got caught off by that earlier, but I never let anyone know.
Years later, I'm still getting caught off guard. But yeah, 7-5. We saw an amazing game out of Liquid is Addicted. And it looks like he is carrying his momentum against one of the best names in the biz right now.
I had 2 third places in a row from Frag Stealer in the last cups. You know, supremely impressive. There he is, back on the board, 6-7. He's the one coming back. Oh, and his movement, you'll see it right now. Buttery, lightning fast.
Just like a biscuit.
Just like a biscuit. Or Rocky in Rocky 3. You may have noticed I watched Rocky 3 this morning. I might be way... yeah, and I watched Rocky 1 and 2 yesterday, so I'm all Rockied up.
Alright, but one frag between them, and is Addicted trying desperately to hold on to it as we enter the last 3 minutes here. Red Armor's going to be up, but it's incredibly risky for him to show up right now, and show up he does with a face full of boomstick. He's going to be trying to get out of there as he could sneak... oh, almost snuck away the 50 health there. I really appreciated that move, but to Frag Stealer's credit, he heard it right away and was able to serve up a tasty pancake, exploding, of the exploding variety, rather. And that'll tie it back up 7-7. And is Addicted really having to slow things down in order to kind of get his bearings here again. He's got rockets, he's got rails, and a nice rocket donk. As the Mega Health comes up, he got knocked out of the bucket there for a little bit, but he came back in to get the grab. So it's going to be a trade between items, so this fight should be fairly even. And there's the rail. Is Addicted maintaining his 1 frag lead, but for how long? 3 health. Oh my god, he gets the Gunblade as well. 2 frags now, 3 health. I really doubt he can hold on to this next fight, though. The 50 health is gone. There's a 25, but he's got to create some distance here.
Frag Stealer, though, looking shaken from my perspective. Just shooting the floor a little bit. Not sure what that's about. Mega... going free for the moment. There it is. 2 is Addicted. He's able to escape as well. That's so key right now. We'll start to see how he wants to play this at the moment. Things not going as planned, I'd have to imagine.
It's incredibly rare to see anybody recovering from a 3 health point in Warsow. Usually that just means that, yeah, okay, you're going to be flipped over for the next run. But here he's able to grab away a few 25s as well as the Mega. He's got the red armor now. Fragstealer actually coming in a little bit late, needs to back out of that fight. He's able to trade that off with the Mega, but no, he didn't. You can't go back. Go back for the Mega. Oh no, and it's gone.
Oh, that is brutal.
It's times like this I wish I could do a good Mickey impression, because you're getting killed out there, Rock! Can't do it. Wouldn't it be wonderful? That's the future of esports casting, is that. No, it's soundboards. We're going to get replaced by soundboards.
Yeah, I did a bit of soundboarding at FaceCon to good effect. I don't think I could ever bring myself to do it in this sort of context, though. I have a little bit of dignity left. Just wait, though. Just wait.
Give it a year. Give it a year.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when everyone's still making fun of you years later for mistaking Fragstealer for Frag whatever he was.
Oh.
You know, I mean, that's gonna dig down. It's gonna eat you inside.
Well, we're gonna see if Fragstealer can hold on to his own title here. It's one frag down, 20 seconds, and is addicted. Starting to take a little bit of pressure here, but Fragstealer really needs to come out blazing with this EB, and he's not getting the hits here. He's rocking 27% right now, and it just isn't enough to push down addicted. And man, great aggression there. But just waste the gunblade. Gonna go. The gunblade is such a fucking die roll, but that die roll will go addicted's way. I have to give it to him though. That was awesome play, awesome game, and addicted will be knocking Fragstealer down to oh no, nearly unplayable server. Says Fragstealer.
We got the server Johns. The server Johns. How long did it take? We should have been taking bets.
No match is complete without being seasoned by some post-game salt.
You don't know what I'm playing, but oh, and the smack talking continues, of course. Just accentuated by the colon, capital D. Beautiful. A bit of garnish.
This is the Quake equivalent of popping off. This is as rowdy as we get.
Oh, and even I love that when they keep it, you know, sarcastically civil, where they're clearly mad as fuck. Still the smiley faces after everything. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. That's why we're here, isn't it? That's why this tournament happens. Let's see.
Beautiful game out of Liquid though, and again looking at the seeds here. I mean, he was seeded number 7, which actually might be a little bit unfair for Liquids, but Fragstealer of course had a lot riding on us. With seed number 2 only losing out the top seed to Puffdar, you know, making his hopefully triumphant return here. But man, that's almost enough to call that one an upset. At least Fragstealer seems a little upset.
He certainly does, and that's Taz and Fragstealer dropping. I wouldn't have expected that. You know, these are the two players I kind of have always seen behind Kerpel and Leshko. It's Kerpel, Leshko, those two. All upset today, all going to be crazy, all going to make my so-called historical understanding of Warsow look even more ridiculous, sad, and limited than it was before. What are we jumping into, though? Apparently 4x3 Oit Zo? Apparently that's a real person. What? No, I already dislike him. I already dislike him for that name. You've upset me. That's... Oh, exclamation! Oh, is that Oizo? No, I'm not having that. See, when I run cups, the seeding is not going to be based on skill at all. It's purely going to be names. It's going to be biased as well, so...
I can live with that.
You know...
We have a paused game.
We do. 3-0 up. It is the WDM2 Cup, of course, as everyone is saying. I don't mind. At least I know this map. I mean, it's not that bad. I did have a look around. 10 and 17. But I got a funny brain. It doesn't absorb maps very quickly at all. Not even close. But just while I said that, because it does remind me, we were talking about gamer food in esports.
I was about to work in some, you know what it is absorbent, you know,
Yeah.
biscuits.
Yeah. Biscuits, they're good. They should be in esports. I think there's a lot of sponsors I've noticed over the years that definitely should get into it. One of them being Soylent recently did. Which I kind of called that. And that made a lot of sense. But I'll tell you the other one. I wear these glasses made by a brand called Silhouette. And they're basically just wires. They don't have hinges and they don't have frames around the glass itself. They're the only glasses I've ever found that you can wear with headphones on 100% comfortably. They need to get in this industry. it'd be perfect. And I've said this about 8 times at this point, so I won't commission.
That might have a better chance than my own preference, because my biscuit of choice happens to be digestives, which puts me in a very slim camp, in the boring camp.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Coffee.
I mean, I've lost a lot of respect for you. There's a
The
plain
Japanese have
biscuit.
blood types, you guys have biscuits. That's how you judge people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a plain biscuit and then there's a digestive, and it's going too far.
It doesn't win awards for the name, obviously. So I'm still not sure what that timeout was all about, but right now we've got, 4 frags up here in WDM2, of course. Just grabbing away Mega Health, but I don't know how long he can hold on to it with this barrage of EB coming down his way. But weirdly enough, Oizo going for the jump pad. There's not a whole lot to gain from there. But oh my god, more LG is going to be opening up a few new holes and a few new opportunities for Oizo as that gets him his first frag on the board.
Trying to come up with something for a few new holes. Nothing jumping at me.
That'll come, don't worry.
Gotta resort to casting the game. Oizo, caught out on the red, and is pushed away, sacrificing that item. Without rockets as well, so I think turning this as a fight is going to be tremendously difficult. I'm really right on top of him. Even standing on him for a little bit there. The rail's apparently good enough. He's getting chased down, he's not firing back, he's getting absolutely decimated. Apparently, him turning around, facing the opposition.
Rail I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was with such confidence that O'Reilly has crumbled. Mentally, he has been fractured into a million pieces. Like if you chucked some china on a concrete floor.
I'm gonna be rather dismayed if O'Reilly was able to recover from this. I mean, he was down to 5 health. He's back up to 80 now. It's a fight over the red armor, and he gets away with it. But he didn't exactly do a whole lot of damage against Oizo there. But here he's gonna be able to catch him with a lot of plasma at close range. That is a beast of a weapon. Down to 7 health once again, and he's taken on down. Now only 2 frags between Oizo and O'Reilly.
Warsaw's a crazy game. Warsow is a crazy game, Oizo. Proving it right there. Taking that one with aplomb. Both major items up. Will really have the presence of mind. Yes, he will. He jumps on there and he takes that with open arms.
It's always the rails that you know you can hit, and the ones that you know they're going to come around that corner, they're going to come through that teleporter. Never hit them. You can never hit them.
It's okay though.
But nice shot coming out of O'Reilly there. 5 seconds left to red armor, and Oizo's a little bit early for it. That might be a huge punish opportunity from O'Reilly.
Late there. Well, rather early.
Yeah.
Late coming through the teleporter. At this point, not looking so hot when it comes to contending any major items in the near future. Oizo very healthy indeed.
And with that rail, O'Reilly might well be on tilt here. Oizo will be able to hold down at least the yellow armor position. He's not quite willing to damage himself for it. Only with 130 red armor, it would be worthwhile, but that'll tie back up. 4 on 4 with a nice tasty mega health at the tail end of it as well. And my god, that rocket to rail combo. What a decisive way to take that lead. He's got a lot of momentum here.
Sensual and titillating was that combo. It's leaving me, you know, somewhat confused, somewhat aroused. A bit like when you repeated yourself saying the game was tied. That was really funny. You've done that twice now.
Yeah,
I wish you replicated the exact tone. Just be that little bit much better.
I don't think I could, because I was incredibly tired. It was not a good recording set. I shouldn't have submitted it, and there should have been reverb. I was told there was going to be reverb. That was a lie. Anyway. Water under the bridge.
Yeah. That's enough of disappointments of the past. We're going to get to disappointments of the present.
Yeah, there's a whole new bevy of them as well. And we're going to have to see if O'Reilly ends up being disappointed in his outing here on WDM2. It's going to come down to this red armor by the look of it. He takes a lot of damage just for entering in at the bottom end of that. And he's got nothing to really grab at this point. He looked for yellow, didn't have yellow. He's able to take away a 50, and at this point he better be pretty thankful about that. I certainly would be. But we got Oizo not really running around right now. He's just kind of lurking, and really was not expecting him to just be sitting quietly at the corner waiting for him to come around. Nice.
Yeah, a bit of a very, well, is it questionable attempt, I think. It was just a little bit too straightforward, too predictable, and not tricky enough to combat the massive stack he was up against. Needs to approach it in a more creative way.
As you are, like it was asked WDM2 or something, then yeah, those little sneak plays can really do a doozy. Oh,
here we go. Here we go. Yes. This is what we're here for, ladies and gentlemen. This is
it's not a Quake Cup until we get accusation.
We've had moaning about servers, accusations. Someone's already called the admin terrible. Oh. Hey, do we need to finish the cup? It's done. We're done. All the boxes have been checked. No. All we need now is a forfeited grand final. That's what we need.
Yeah.
You know, there's something like 3 reflex 20s in a row.
EB. That's you know, just middle of the road, really.
Yeah. Come on, see some forfeits. See some mad GGs. And by that I don't mean mad good games. No, we wouldn't want those. So he's out. I mean,
yeah.
And it was weird because he was 4-0 up at the beginning. Or no, was it? Because they were 4-4 at one point, I know. Someone was 4-0, then it was 4-4, and
it was like 4-1
I think
when we got in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been able to pull one back since. We have not seen Bo really get one. But yeah, that's a lot of good momentum, and that'll be a good round coming out of Warsow. I'm not too familiar with him myself, but it looks like today will be the day that changes as he moves forward in the upper bracket.
Game over.
Well, I despise him for his name. I take no joy from screaming Oizo. So I hope he quits. Next game. Next game. What are we jumping into? Currently, UA Predator versus Taz. I believe that will be close to finishing, but I'm going to jump in anyhow. Maybe they're done? Maybe they haven't started. That would be quite the treat. Yeah, they're currently doing map vetoes. Predator and Taz.
Should be a ban against using black as a color in the name because it just doesn't play well with the UI at all.
That is awkward. I know what you mean.
Borders.
Luckily, when I say luckily, I mean really it's not that fortunate, but Taz is the only person I've had issues with in terms of that. Consistently, of course, he doesn't change it, but nobody else has been foolish enough. UA Predator, lovely and visible. We applaud him for his talents.
Alright, so we're going to get map picks here. We're looking at WDM2 at the moment, but we might not be. That would be a nice turn of events.
We're going to be on WDM2. Guaranteed.
Prepare to fight.
Oh, no. Being caught out.
Oh.
That's the real enemy of the game, is that?
That's when nobody
the final boss.
I gotta be fair. I say nobody plays when there's a 40-man tournament, so yeah.
Yeah, in terms of the tournament scene, that might just be the most entrance of any arena FPS. Because the Quake Live Cups, because everyone knows who the top players are, really seem to be doing poorly in terms of signups. I mean, I say doing poorly, I mean, it doesn't really matter. That's not the goal of them.
Well, obviously, everybody needs to change over to Clan Arena. That's where the cool kids are. The hip youths.
I will let you tread water on that on your own.
I knew you had a few buttons. And they weren't all digestive biscuit related.
Most of them, though. Most of them are biscuit related, at least. In Britain, we take biscuits very seriously.
Ah, 2 just got dropped.
No. Alright, at least we're getting rid of 10. Alright, we're getting rid of 10.
You know, I had a really shitty experience just before we started this. I'm running a Quake World FFA event tonight. Kicking off our Summer of Quake World series of events for TD Splitting Games in preparation for QuakeCon this year. And I had a good friend ask me why I hadn't called the cup the Bunny Hop Cup, which
A player called
devastated
the vote.
me.
Game over.
Because obviously that's the right thing to call it today.
Yep.
I fucked up. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's a terrible situation because really you've let the Quake scene down. More
myself.
specifically, you've let the players down. But that's it. Worst of all, you have let yourself down.
I think that'll be the most lasting scar from today.
You wish.
Anyway, we're gonna have some good fun tonight. My plan is to get as many Americans involved with Quake World as I can before QuakeCon, because we have certain players coming over from Sweden and the UK who are just going to demolish us.
That's
Like,
scary.
question.
Because I know Locktar's coming over.
Yeah.
Milton said he might be coming over, which of course, being the Quake World GOAT, would be
Rickle?
quite the treat. Yeah, Rickle.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of the sudden death guys.
Yeah.
So it's quite the
gonna
entourage.
be it's gonna be a mess.
It's going to be a massacre.
I'm hoping to train up an army here, and I don't know how well that's gonna go. My prediction tonight is that we're gonna have a few European players join anyway with about 200 ping, and they're still gonna beat everybody. So that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, me. Oh no, wait, you said win. No. Sorry. Not me. Hopefully, it is going to be a game with WDM5. And I said hopefully, meaning we'd get into it soon. Because I like this map a lot, and I've seen Taz on here. Mostly on WDM5. This seems to be one of his favorite maps.
Yeah.
And he looks quite different here than on others.
Oh, absolutely. He really does live up to his namesake here. You can almost hear him going robber robber through the map. I'll spare everybody my best Tasmanian devil impression.
I'll let that sit as well.
Yep. Just I'm comfortable with that.
Are you? Are you really?
Yeah.
Is this what years of broadcasting does to you? Because I might want to get out.
Honestly, I don't know how to answer that.
That does worry me. There seem to be these long-lasting effects on casters. They just lose their
Mental
mind.
and otherwise.
Oh yeah, the physical rigors of game commentary, of course.
My ass is huge.
Only your mum?
Rip and tear.
Is that it?
By the way, the size of my ass is no way proportional to the amount of digestive biscuits I eat.
Wait,
Can't be letting my sponsors down.
no. Digestive biscuits are incredibly healthy, part of a mixed diet. You know, you do have to balance it out, but for the most part, you can go digestive only.
Yeah. Mix in some Wheaties and you're good to go.
I want to see someone live on that for a year. Supersize me, but with biscuits. That would be wonderful. But the thing is, we wouldn't need someone to eat it every day for 30 days. You would just travel up north and someone would be there anyway.
It'll be an odd obituary, I'm sure.
Definitely. I mean, I don't know if you understand this being an American, but our north is like your south, in that it's
Right,
filled with
yeah.
scum.
Oh yeah.
Scum
And it's a
that...
pretty direct geographical ratio. The further north you go, the more free meth you get.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you also get more free stabbings as well. So there is like this sweet spot, apparently, where the meth pretty plentiful, but less violence.
The implication is that there's some place where the stabbings aren't free.
No, it's more just there aren't stabbings down here in the sophisticated part of the country. Thank you very much.
Very much doubt that.
I lie, because Croydon is in the south. Croydon is not a pretty place. I think that might be similar to Detroit.
I don't think anything's similar to Detroit, thankfully.
What about Iraq?
Really?
I guess that is quite offensive to Iraq. I take it all
I'm
back.
glad you went that direction with it, honestly. It could have been so much worse. Alright, these guys better ready up here pretty soon. So we are floundering.
I'm gonna have to start talking about films. It's the only way. Because
My brain just completely shuts down when I'm talking to somebody from Britain who knows more about Rocky than I do.
Ah,
This doesn't click.
Prepare to fight.
I like
I
those
started talking
films.
about Red Dwarf or something.
One.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, I know my Red Dwarf as well. I mean, if you want to talk about Robot Wars, then you seriously lose.
I'll have to take you up on that sometime. But for now, we've got Taz, we got Predator, and we're seeing a map that you might not be familiar with on the basis of today. Where we're looking at a bit of WDM5, and it's Taz eating a lot of LG to go with that Mega Health, and coming around the corner to Green Armor is the most predictable thing ever happened. And he goes down at the hands of Predator, nailing in that first frag. We have Red Armor stolen away, but at the expense of, what? He managed to get the frag.
Telefrag.
Oh, Warsow, you're so random.
That was balling. That was balling. I mean, he was completely stifled off the bat.
Yeah.
Struggling, gets
nothing
fragged, does nothing with it. But Warsow. Warsow, that's the game we're playing, and it's quite apparent. He's going to be on this red as well. You wouldn't expect it. It's Taz's voice game to lose right now. I mean, everything's going his way.
That completely negates the spawn advantage, any spawn advantage that Predator had, but he's going to have to find a way to get that momentum back and kind of bring that fire that he had in the first, 20 seconds. A telefrag has a way of kind of shutting down your momentum.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's something that gets into your mind. You know, it's just one of those big mistakes that you will.
It's not even mistakes; it's just fate.
Yeah,
If anything.
maybe that's worse. I don't know what's worse: doubting yourself or doubting in the justice of the universe. I don't know which one is a bigger question.
It really does look like Predator has some doubts now. He's barely even seen Taz over the last 30 seconds, but we've got a little bit of play across the teleporter here. It looks like he's wanting to push in with this LG, pop through the teleporter, and put some pressure on the Mega area. Neither of those items are up, and Predator loses out completely on a grab for Red Armor. He heard it taken away, though, so he should have been ready for this fight, but it doesn't really look like he was, so he's doing his best with this LG. He's got the initial damage, but no love on the EB either. As Taz is going to be able to take away this Mega by the look of it. Oh, here comes Predator. Better Lightning Gun this time around. And around the corner, Predator is going to be leaving it up, trying to make a grab for the Red Armor this time instead. But there's enough time for Taz to make a play on it. And intercepts him. My God, Predator wanted to, stay safe and loop around, but he ended up costing himself not only the Red Armor, but his own life.
And another stuck up against a wall like a Geordie, literally anywhere.
Nice.
He's going down. Like a Geordie, literally anywhere. Oh my God. Can't believe I didn't think of that sooner.
Beautiful. All right, Predator able to get away with the Red Armor finally, as we have a trade-off here with Mega Health. Nice rail to take away half of Taz's armor, but he's got to be ready for him coming up the stairs to be able to take away the yellow armor, and Predator is looking for a way in. Playing these teleporters is certainly a good way to go about doing that, but the timing of these grenades could certainly shut him down at any point here.
That's something I want to note right now. Taz has been playing this extraordinarily passive. Until an item's up, he's not moving. He's holding his ground, he's taking preferential trades just about everywhere, and he's waiting for Predator to make mistakes. I think it's a very frustrating style to play against.
Yeah,
That's why I like
rather
it.
uncharacteristic for him, and you can tell that Predator is struggling a little bit, where he's got maybe not so many options of where best to be, but he doesn't even know where to be in order to be where he needs to be when he needs to be there, if you get my meaning.
No.
All right, great. Then we're on par here.
It's what you don't understand either. I was hoping you were going to help me out.
All right, so Taz, still kind of keeping his back to the teleporters and to Mega respectively, which is really an important point. Also because the yellow armor's there, which is going to be coming up far more often. And so this is really the hallway to hold down. And if Predator finds his way in on the 225s, pushing Taz down towards the Red Armor, but is Predator going to find a way to push in himself? No, he's going to be, I'm certain he didn't expect Taz to be there for the Mega, but he ends up getting it off the spawn.
Yeah, so Taz goes in there being aggressive when both major items are up. They trade the frags, but both going for the Mega. Of course, it favored one of them. It's Predator. Without the red, but plenty to work with for him. No, he gets bashed away. I don't know how to call this right now. Each fight is going the opposite way of how it should. And that Taz just throwing it away. They're going the open field with a grenade launcher out. Of course he does.
Yeah, general rule in Warsow, it looks like, is that the individual fights can be a little bit random, but it really turns into who has health at the end of the fight, and that's where things start to make a little bit more rational sense.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the conversion frags and the opposite of that, surviving.
Yeah.
So much more difficult in this game than most others, and that's helped by the more spread the weapon pool, really. All of them. Quite useful, all of them. With a fair amount of damage. Well, actually, if you look at it, as we say there, the shotgun exceptionally good in this game.
And then you have gunblade shots like that.
Yeah, okay. Alright, we need to take a breather. Can we pause the game? The weapons in this game are really weirdly spread. Well, maybe not weird, but I guess it is. It's unusual. In that they are all very useful, and the DPS aren't how you would think they are. The shotgun has one of the highest DPSs. The plasma is very high. The rocket and the rail, some of the lowest DPS of all. So if you can hit those grenades, you can hit that shotgun, you can hit that plasma. Even the gunblade, you've got a real chance to make a fight happen.
Uh-oh, Predator looks like
Oh.
his pigeons have died. Alright, there we go.
Oh, is it? Well, each packet is being sent by a carrier pigeon.
Yeah.
That's how they played Quake in the 1700s.
And today in Russia.
Oh, okay. See, it seems weird that it would be so popular there. Like, quite the issue. Predator just about hanging on here, but he's going back in. I think either player, neither player really knew who had the lead there, I don't think. Both very wary about the stacks. It's because they were both quite low. Predator, now with the tie, as Taz throws his body on the pile.
Alright, but that'll tie it back up 5-on-5. And yeah, with the with both players kind of trading off items at that point, again, we're kind of left wondering who's got the real edge here. Well, Taz is able to hold down quite a bit more armor, but his positioning and weapons is a little bit lighter. And as he's listening for where Predator is going to be, Predator's wondering the same thing himself as red armor comes up. Still 5 seconds to Mega. Predator needs to go back. That could cost him a vital 2 seconds in order to get in on this Mega. And having a little bit of difficulty on the corner, that will give Taz priority here, but he's going to need to back up to it and survive the barrage he's going to be getting from Predator. But there's the push in, and Predator closes the distance, but a close-range rocket gives Taz that edge and the leading frag.
Stubbornly sticking on that rail. Doesn't land any of them, and it costs him dearly. Taz, I feel, getting very lucky there.
And I hate to mark things up to luck here, but yeah, they've both got such an even game. The traps on either of the items have been so, you know, lopsided one way or the other, but it's been a little bit unpredictable, to be honest. But Predator eating that one rail. He's still trying to find a way to push in, and that's one of the things that's been kind of throwing me for a loop. Every time Predator ends up eating a shot, that would mean, all right, time to back off and collect my wits and resources a little bit. He goes, nah, this is the time to push in. And he ends up getting away with a lot of awesome surprise hits on Taz that way.
Well, one of the things you wouldn't usually talk about in Warsow is weapon selection, but Taz has been caught out in a lot of ways. Not so much because he's got the wrong weapon out, but he commits with it. He's low, he's being chased, he pulls out the grenade launcher and it all goes wrong. And even there, once again, I think for maybe the fourth or fourth time this game, rather. The LG coming out on top in a massive way, and he's not answering any of it. We're tied again. 1 minute and 30 on the clock. It's all to play for. Predator with that rail and should be able to make a push onto this Mega just as it spawns. Maybe Taz can hold around long enough. He does. The rail doesn't finish it off. He should have gone for a more reliable weapon, and here we are in a messy fight. It's Taz.
What a hell of a lot of dodging from either of them, but Taz still in the lead by 1 point. He's able to take away the 225s at the other end of the bridge, but that leaves him in sort of an unfavorable spot in terms of A, staying away from Predator right now, and B, getting more than those 225s. But he's able to sneak away with the yellow armor here finally, wrapping around the teleporter. Predator running out of plasma at a critical point, looking for those last couple rails. He might actually take 3 here.
It seems like these players are going out of their way to not be clutch. They're both missing the crucial rails, and right there you see 2 in a row, easy as you like. No explaining that. Must be fate trying to make this game that much more entertaining.
Well, with Mega up and Predator in position here. Taz comes out from behind. Not where Predator was expecting him, but he's able to get in front of him, get away with the Mega. But he's still on the crates. He's still here. He's still holding out with the LG. One rail does it, and that'll tie it back up. Again, he could have left that situation at any point. And like you said, his weapon selection against that LG, it cost him a lot.
Well, it might have cost him in overtime. It's really, really bad. There he's on the other end of things. Maybe he can make something of it. But now Chase down and looking the wrong way. No, surely not, Taz. Surely, surely, surely not. There we go.
Last second rail there, and that'll give him that 2-frag lead, enough to put Taz down to the lower bracket. But yeah, what a game.
It seems like all the tiny movement mistakes were choreographed there. That one right at the end where he goes for the Mega, gets caught on the wall and is nearly caught out. That could have been the difference between a victory and a loss.
Movement from both, which I'm sure was mutually frustrating.
Yeah, a really weird game where we saw incredible peaks of skill and depressing lows. That was... There's no way that was loser's bracket. Oh,
well, that means that our upper bracket semifinal is going to be Puffstar.
Yeah, thank God that was winners. Okay.
Seed 1 versus Seed 13.
And whoa!
And our other semifinal is Liquid Seed 7 versus our lead dude here in the cup, user 09324. I'm still a little bit disbelieving that that's actually his name. But at Seed 14, that'll be our other semifinal.
Well, user, and I don't want to badmouth him, of course, because he runs his cup, and he's clearly quite the cool guy.
For no other reason.
But he doesn't usually do very well in these. Right. In fact, I don't think I've seen him reach round 3 before. And here he is, going up against Oizo, I thought was supreme. Versus O'Reilly, of course, it started off poorly, but he showed some composure, and I think the most impressive form of... The most impressive form we've seen thus far today. So that's going to be an incredibly difficult match. No, rather, what am I saying? He beat Oizo. That's what I was trying to get at. Right. I don't understand how that happened, if I'm honest. From what I've seen, maybe he's come to Europe, and of course that does boost your arena FPS skills in a huge way. So, obviously, I kind of want to catch him versus Liquids, but again, as you said, Puffstar, the legend. 2 good games on offer. We'll see what we can get. I think both should be incredibly interesting.
Well, laziness might win out for me because Puffstar and Predator are already here.
They are. Okay, we'll stick with them. And also in the lower bracket, it is 13 versus Leshka. We're not going to jump into that one. Maybe they're just practicing. Or is that going to be... Because if that's going on, that again is another huge game. Because Leshka, I believe he won the last cup. Before that, has always been bested by Kerpel in the finals, but so consistent in reaching those finals. I think he joined late, so he was automatically seeded into the losers bracket. But that's going to be quite the interesting run. And it'll be quite a long one. He has to go through 30 and 6-ounce poo, then Oizo, then potentially Frag Stealer after that. Quite the big ask. And I think we could see yet another upset with him falling somewhere down that line.
Oh, looks like we might be going over to 15.
Over to 15. Okay, I like 15 a lot.
Game over. Good game.
Now, Fragstein is saying he's out in chat. I'm very confused. I'm not too sure if the brackets are being updated then. I'm very bad at reading brackets. I'm not too sure if you've realised. I think I've hidden it well. I think so. I mean, I've made about 6 mistakes so far, but considering it's only been 2 hours, I mean, 3 an hour.
That's okay. In this business, there's a lot you can conceal in terms of inabilities. It's great, really.
Just bullshit away all of your troubles. Or you can just say that it's hurting your feelings, and then people will back off.
Oh.
Criticism. It's not. Criticism makes me all sad, guys. Don't do it.
I hate how right you are.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. I even get upset when I'm self-deprecating.
Everybody shit on each other and everybody was fine with it.
That's what we're trying to bring back in the arena FPS scene. Well, it's kind of true, actually. It is one of the most...
arena FPS scene.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the most blunt communities there is.
Yeah.
which I do appreciate. I do worry what people think in their first day or so. But when you understand the context of everything, it's one of the more admirable traits. Because there are some...
always thought so.
There are some rather... what should I say? What's the most polite way of putting this? Unenviable traits that the arena FPS scene has when compared with others.
Like popularity.
And Jaha. Being one of your premier casters, I mean, oh.
Yeah. You think it's tough for them, it's pretty tough on me as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine. I put on the stream and I can mute you, but you gotta look in the mirror every day.
I need to buy a new mirror every week or so.
What a cruel world this is. We'll see what a cruel world it is for Predator going up against, really, one of the biggest names in all of Warsow's history. It's puffed up WDM 15, the arena.
And
Off the
Predator
start already,
says at the
actually.
beginning of this, break me completely. And right now, they're neither of them look really willing to do that, as is to be Predator getting a fairly uncontested grab of Mega Health, Puffdar grabbing away Red Armor, which gives him a little bit more priority in the middle of the map as well as weapons, but it's going to be Predator just running into him full bore with the shotgun, not riot gun, and pulling away that first frag.
And demolishes him with haste. Disposing of your enemy, of course.
Staying at the top here. That'll be another Red Armor up, but it's one that he's got to leave behind as Puffdar goes in for hopefully a 50 health as well as a Mega. He's got rockets and a little bit of plasma to work with. Nowhere near enough to really do anything against Predator. But he's going to get both Mega and Yellow Armor. Not a bad pull at all. This map is a little bit strange in that the Mega and the Yellow Armor aren't really conjoined in terms of being able to grab one